Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here with you on this Saturday morning, and I would like to welcome you very warmly, because on a Saturday, spending the day here in order to learn about sustainable finance, this needs an applause for you. So thank you. So it's an honor to be with you and to talk the most important issue: how to give hope to people, how to be enabler of the future and be actors of change, because that's what we have to do together. And I would like to congratulate the Center for International Forestry Research and UNEP for having put together this interesting program about how to move to sustainable land use financing and do this in the mainstream. Because this is the question: how do we accelerate the transition? And I may start with a quote from Vandana Shiva, who told us that it's not an investment if you destroy the planet. And I think this is the thinking that we have to put to have good reasons to invest in the planet, in people, in peace, in security, because this is what it's all about. We are facing huge crises at the moment that are closely linked. The climate crisis of biodiversity loss, land degradation. Our forests are burning and we are highly polluting. So we are not efficient at all in what we do at the moment. The question is not if we move. The question we are facing is if we are able to move quick enough, if we are able to move together and create the right alliances of the willing, for instance. Alliances of those people who take a holistic approach in order to integrate sustainability into financing systems, into economics. Because you can't deal with the planning, dying species. You can't deal with climate, but you can deal with people. You can change economic systems. And it's a question about building the bridges, analyzing the gaps of the system. Yesterday, Luxembourg agreed on a new climate law, the first climate law, and we decided to go for climate neutrality at the latest in 2050. We also decided to increase our efforts, going from 40% reduction target to 2005 to 55% of reductions until 2030, which tells that we are taking into account the climate urgency and that we are serious about scaling up what we do. And therefore, we need the finance sector. We have a huge finance sector here in Luxembourg. We need economics, but we also need all consumers, because we have to change everything. We have to change to reconnect with nature and with people, because this is the biggest challenge that we face. We also have put some principle in the law. For instance, that we have a holistic approach if it comes to climate change. Solutions are only solutions if we integrate environmental integrity, climate justice, no backsliding, forward-looking. If we do not make options for false solutions, for instance, nuclear, if we preserve biodiversity. We need to increase adaptation efforts, and there's a close link to biodiversity protection and create win-win situation. Indeed, forests, wetlands, seagrass meadows are important carbon sinks and help us mitigate climate change. And we need to conserve genetic diversity. The diversity is the key. It's not mainstreaming, which goes away from diversity, but mainstreaming by preserving diversity. if it comes to people, Luxembourg is a very open country with lots of different nationalities, and that's the culture that we live in. So why go away from diversity, from biodiversity, if it comes, for instance, to agriculture? Having more choices, more options, if it comes to what you eat, what you find at your table, is important. Until now, very often, there's a big disconnection between reality on the ground and money. I've been a producer before being minister, and I can tell you that we have to bridge the gaps that we see between long-term, short-term investments, so developing new instruments. There's also a gap and a difference between who gains or who's the winner of a system. Will we have big or small scale models? Will we have big or small scale producers because in Europe, for instance, the industry sector, if it comes to agriculture, is gaining much more from agriculture than small scale producers. The question there, who is the winner? So we have to put forward the right question if we make investments decision. And still we have, I would say, 10 years to change this whole system. So just accelerate what we do is what we have to do. And we have to also integrate thinking from the soil, thinking from Mother Earth. Because the system we are running today, we are also disconnected from the landscapes, from the soils, and very often we do not firstly think about nature-based solutions, but we have those solutions, and they are already there. The question is, how fast will we be in making those nature-based solutions, true cost accounting, carrying capacities, all those kind of things, put them into financial thinking. And this is where we have to discuss about, I think, today. And with this, I think Luxembourg has done lots of progress in order to combine climate crisis, biodiversity loss, and find solutions. We have been working during the last years together with the Finance Ministry to establish new instruments. One of the new instruments that we have put forward in Luxembourg was the EIB platform, where we have highly innovative projects and the government takes the guarantee. So we have a private leverage in those very innovative things. One of the projects is the Land Degradation and Neutrality Fund, a fund that supports land restoration and can help local farmers. One other project is the UN RED Plus program. There we are in cooperation to scale up the engagement with private and finance sector and work towards transforming agricultural production that better balances climate action with enhanced yields farm income. So the transition needs to be sustainable. We have to give opportunities to invest into the right direction. Another thing that we have been put forward was the Blue Natural Capital Financing Facility that focuses on coastal areas. So we have to put forward diverse instruments, give diverse opportunities to combine those thinkings. So now I think I made some examples. I'm looking forward for the panel discussion, looking forward to see you find with us solution, to learn from each other. Because one thing that I have learned in my career as environment minister is that we have to learn to understand each other. Those coming from environmental sector, finance sector, economy. It's all about learning from each other, speaking the same language, and yes, finding the right solutions together We as politicians have to put the right framework on, give incentives, but we also have to listen. So that's why I'll stop now, and I'm looking forward to the discussion, and thank you for listening to me.